It's January 2025. You're looking back on the year with a smile because for once, everything fell into place. Your goals weren't just ideas, they were achievements. Your health is thriving, your relationships are stronger, your finances are growing. And most importantly, you feel proud of the person you've become. Sounds good, doesn't it? Here's the truth. That vision isn't just a nice thought. It's a possibility. And you have the power to make it happen, but it won't come by chance or luck. It's going to take focus, effort, and action. The kind of action that starts with the decisions you make today. Right now in this video, I'm going to walk you through the steps that can transform your life in 1 year. These aren't abstract ideas or empty promises. They're proven principles, simple enough to follow, but powerful enough to change everything. I'm not here to sugarcoat it. It'll take work, but let me tell you, the results are worth it. We'll dive deep into what it means to reflect on who you want to become, to take full responsibility for your future, and to set real meaningful goals that actually matter. I'll show you how to build daily habits that keep you moving forward, how to stay disciplined when things get tough, and how to surround yourself with the right kind of people, the ones who inspire you, not hold you back. And we'll talk about something. So many people overlook the belief in your ability to change and grow. So here's my question to you. Are you ready to make 2025 the year that changes everything? Because if you're willing to give me your attention for just 1 hour, I'll give you the tools to make it happen. Let's get started. Number 1, reflect and decide who you want to become. This is not something to take lightly. This isn't about picking a random goal or doing what everyone else is doing. It's about sitting down, getting honest with yourself, and figuring out who you truly want to be. Not just in 2025, but in the years that follow. Think about it for a moment. Who do you admire? What qualities do you see in others that make you think, I wish I was more like that? Maybe it's someone's discipline, their work ethic, their ability to stay calm under pressure, or even the way they carry themselves with confidence and purpose. Start there. Begin with the qualities and attributes that resonate with you. These are the seeds of the person you want to become. But here's the thing, admiration isn't enough. You can admire someone's strength, but if you're not willing to cultivate it in yourself, nothing changes. So the first step is to define your vision. Take some quiet time. Turn off your phone. Step away from the noise and really think about it. Ask yourself, what kind of person do I want to be when I wake up every morning? How do I want to feel about myself at the end of each day? These questions aren't about what others expect from you. They're about you. You might want to write this down. Grab a journal or a notebook and start describing your future self. Be specific. Maybe you see yourself as someone who's physically strong, mentally sharp, and emotionally grounded. Maybe you're someone who takes care of their responsibilities without procrastination, who's always learning, and who's known for being reliable and trustworthy. Paint a clear picture of who you want to become. Once you have that vision, take it one step further. Ask yourself, why do I want to be this person? This is where you find your drive. It's not enough to say, I want to be disciplined, or I want to be successful. Maybe you want to provide a better life for your family. Maybe you want to prove to yourself that you can achieve something you once thought was impossible. Or maybe you just want to live a life that feels meaningful and fulfilling. Whatever it is, your why will keep you going when things get tough. Now, reflecting on who you want to become also means taking a hard look at where you are right now. And let me tell you, this part isn't always comfortable. It's easy to get defensive or make excuses. But growth starts with honesty. What's holding you back? Is it laziness, fear, or lack of focus? Are there habits you've developed that are working against you? Be real with yourself, because you can't fix what you won't face. Here's an exercise I want you to try. Make 2 lists on one side. Write down all the qualities and habits of the person you want to be on the other side. Write down the qualities and habits you currently have. Now compare the two. Are they aligned? If they're not, don't beat yourself up. This isn't about feeling bad, it's about creating a roadmap. Every gap between who you are and who you want to be is an opportunity for growth. And let me tell you something else. Deciding who you want to become isn't a one-time thing. It's an ongoing process. You're going to grow and evolve over time, and that's a good thing. The person you want to be in 2025 might not be the same person you want to be in 2030. And that's okay. The point is to always be intentional about your growth. Don't just drift through life, reacting to whatever comes your way. Decide who you want to be and move in that direction every single day. I will give you an example. Let's say you've decided that in 2025 you want to be someone who's financially independent. That's a great goal. But what does it look like? Maybe it means having no debt, a solid emergency fund, and multiple streams of income. Maybe it means being in a position where you can help others without worrying about your own financial stability. Once you've defined that, you can start working backward. What steps do you need to take today to become that person? Or maybe you've decided that you wanted to be someone who's physically and mentally strong. Again, great goal, but what does it look like in your daily life? Maybe it means exercising regularly, eating healthy, and getting enough sleep. Maybe it means practicing mindfulness or learning how to manage stress. The more specific you get, the easier it becomes to take action. Remember, this is about progress, not perfection. You don't have to become your ideal self overnight. In fact, you won't. But every small step you take brings you closer. Every time you choose to act in alignment with the person you want to become, you're reinforcing that identity, you're building momentum, and that's what leads to lasting change. So as you think about 2025, ask yourself, who do I want to be by the end of this year? Not just what you want to achieve, but who you want to become as a person. Take the time to reflect, write it down, and commit to it. Because once you've decided who you want to be, everything else, your goals, your habits, your daily choices falls into place. And let me tell you, when you're clear about who you are and where you're going, there's no limit to what you can accomplish. Number 2, take responsibility for your future. Your life is the result of the choices you make. Nobody else is steering the ship you are. That can be a tough pill to swallow because it means you can't blame anyone else for where you are, not your parents, not your boss, not your circumstances. It's all on you. But here's the beautiful part. If you're the one responsible, you're also the one who can change it. And that, my friend, is power. Responsibility starts with honesty. You have to take a good, hard look at your life as it stands today. What are you proud of? What areas make you feel stuck? Where have you made excuses instead of taking action? This isn't about beating yourself up. It is about being real. When I first started to take responsibility for my future, I had to admit some hard truths. I was living paycheck to paycheck. My relationships were shallow, and my health was far from ideal. But acknowledging those truths was the first step toward changing them. Because if you can't see where you are, how can you decide where to go? Taking responsibility also means letting go of the blame game. It's easy to point fingers at other people or external circumstances. If only my boss paid me more, I'd save money. If my partner were more supportive, I'd feel motivated. If I didn't have bad luck, I'd be further ahead. Those thoughts are comforting because they take the weight off your shoulders, but they also rob you of your power. The moment you stop blaming and start owning your life shifts, you go from being a victim to being the creator of your reality. Let me give you an example. Imagine 2 people lose their jobs on the same day. One person spends weeks complaining about how unfair it was, how the company didn't appreciate them, and how the economy is to blame. The other person says, "All right, this is tough, but what can I do about it?" They start updating their resume, reaching out to their network, and learning new skills. Guess who finds a new job faster? The one who took responsibility. Life isn't fair and challenges will come, but your response to them is always within your control. Responsibility isn't just about big life changes. It's in the small daily choices too. What time do you wake up? How do you spend your free time? What do you eat? Who do you surround yourself with? These decisions might seem minor, but they compound over time. A small, consistent action in the right direction can lead to massive results. On the flip side, small, careless choices can keep you stuck. Taking responsibility means becoming intentional about these moments. It is about asking yourself, is this choice moving me closer to the life I want or further away? One of the most empowering things you can do is take responsibility for your mindset. How do you talk to yourself? Do you focus on opportunities or obstacles? When something goes wrong, do you dwell on it or look for the lesson? Your thoughts shape your reality. If you believe you're capable, resourceful, and resilient, you'll act in ways that reflect that. If you believe you're stuck, unlucky, or not good enough, you'll find evidence to support those beliefs too. Taking responsibility for your future means taking responsibility for your inner dialogue. It means choosing thoughts that empower you instead of limiting you. Another key part of this process is setting boundaries. Taking responsibility for your future often requires you to say no to things that don't serve you. That could mean turning down opportunities that aren't aligned with your goals, distancing yourself from people who drain your energy, or letting go of habits that hold you back. This isn't easy. It might make you uncomfortable, and it might upset others. But every time you say no to something that doesn't serve you, you're saying yes to your future, and that is worth it. When I started to take responsibility for my life, I noticed something incredible. Opportunities started to appear. It wasn't that the world suddenly became more generous. It was that I was now in a position to recognize and seize them. Responsibility opens doors because it forces you to pay attention. When you're no longer focused on blaming or complaining, you have the energy to create, to innovate, to take action, and that action leads to results. One of the most important lessons about responsibility is that it's not about perfection. You'll make mistakes. You'll have days when you fall short. The key is to own those moments too, instead of making excuses or avoiding them. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Responsibility isn't about getting it right every time. It's about staying committed to growth no matter what. Taking responsibility for your future is not a one-time decision. It's a daily practice. Every morning you have a choice. Will you take ownership of your day, or will you let it pass you by? Up every evening, you have another choice. Will you reflect on what went well and what you can improve, or will you ignore it? These choices add up over time. They create your future. And the best part, you get to decide what that future looks like. So as you think about 2025, ask yourself, what kind of life do you want to create? What kind of person do you want to become? And most importantly, what are you willing to take responsibility for today? The power is in your hands. No one else can do it for you. But the moment you take that responsibility, the moment you own your life, everything changes. Your future is waiting. Are you ready to take charge of it? Number 3, set specific and meaningful goals. Let's talk about setting goals, but not just any goals, specific, meaningful ones. It is easy to say you want to be successful or happy or wealthy, but what does that actually mean to you? Until you define it clearly, it's just a wish, and wishes don't come with a plan. That's where goals come in. A goal is a decision. It's a commitment to yourself that says, this is where I'm going, and nothing will stop me. But for that commitment to hold weight, it has to be tied to something personal, something that matters deeply to you. You've got to make it specific and meaningful. When I think about setting meaningful goals, the first thing that comes to mind is clarity. Imagine sitting down and writing out exactly what you want your life to look like by the end of. Think about every detail. What kind of work are you doing? What do your relationships look like? How do you feel when you wake up in the morning? These aren't just lofty dreams. They're the blueprint for your future. When you take the time to create that vision, you're giving yourself a target to aim for. Without it, you're like a ship lost at sea, hoping the wind will carry you to the right destination. But with a clear goal, you've got a map, you know where you're headed. Now let's make it specific. Saying I want to be healthier isn't specific. What does healthier mean to you? Does it mean losing 20 pounds? Does it mean running a marathon? Or maybe it's about lowering your blood pressure or feeling more energetic. The more specific you get, the easier it is to create a plan. And that plan is what turns a vague wish into something actionable. For example, if your goal is to save money, don't just say, I want to save more. Decide how much you're going to save and by when, then break it down. If you want to save $10,000 in a year, that's about $33 a month or $28 a day. Suddenly it feels manageable. But beyond being specific, your goals have to mean something to you. Why do you want to achieve this? What's the deeper reason? If you're aiming for financial success, is it because you want security for your family? Is it because you want the freedom to travel? If you're pursuing fitness, is it about feeling confident in your own skin or being able to keep up with your kids? When you tie your goals to your values, they become more than just tasks. They become a reflection of who you are and who you want to be. And here's the thing. Once you've set your goals, write them down. There's power in putting pen to paper. It makes your goals feel real. Don't just type them into your phone or think about them in your head. Physically write them down and don't stop there. Put them somewhere. You'll see them every day. Maybe it's on your bathroom mirror or taped to your computer screen. Let them be a constant reminder of what you're working towards. Now I want to address something that often trips people up. Fear setting big goals can feel intimidating. You might think, what if I fail? Let me tell you something. Failure isn't the enemy. Fear of trying is if you aim high and miss, you'll still land further than if you never tried at all. And every step you take, even the missteps, will teach you something valuable. So don't let fear hold you back from dreaming big. Be bold, be ambitious. You're capable of more than you think. Once you have your goals written down, it's time to break them into smaller, actionable steps. Let's say your goal is to start a new business. That's a big undertaking, but it starts with small steps. Maybe the first step is researching your market. Then it's creating a business plan. After that, it might be setting up a website or reaching out to potential clients. By breaking it down, you take what feels overwhelming and make it manageable. And with each step you complete, you'll build momentum. Success isn't about giant leaps. It's about consistent progress. Accountability is another key piece of the puzzle. Share your goals with someone you trust. It could be a friend, a mentor, or a family member. When you tell someone about your goals, you're making a commitment not just to yourself, but to them as well. They can cheer you on, offer guidance, and hold you accountable when you need it. And sometimes just knowing someone else is rooting for you can make all the difference. But here's the truth you need to hear. Not everyone will understand your goals. Some people might doubt you. They might think your dreams are too big or unrealistic. That's okay. Your goals are yours, not theirs. You don't need everyone's approval to chase your dreams. What matters is that you believe in them and in yourself. Finally, remember that setting goals is just the beginning. Goals are like seeds. You plant them, but then you have to nurture them. You have to water them, give them sunlight, and protect them from weeds. In other words, you have to take action every day to bring them to life. It's not always going to be easy, but it will always be worth it. And as you start to see progress, as those small wins start adding up, you'll realize that the person you're becoming is even more rewarding than the goals you're achieving. So take some time today to think about what you really want. Get specific, write it down, make it meaningful, and then take that first step. 2025 is waiting for you, and it has the potential to be your best year yet. But it all starts with you and the decision to make it happen. Number 4, create a simple daily plan to create a daily plan. Now, this isn't about setting up a rigid schedule that feels like a prison. It's about designing your days with intention, giving your time a purpose, and aligning your actions with the goals you've set for yourself. Think of your day as a blank canvas. Every single morning, you have the opportunity to decide what you'll paint. But if you're not deliberate, it's easy to waste the canvas on meaningless scribbles instead of creating something worthwhile. That's where a daily plan comes in. It's your blueprint, your guide, your map to ensure that by the end of the day, you've moved closer to the life you want to build. The first step in crafting a daily plan is to remind yourself while you're doing it. You're not just filling your hours with tasks for the sake of being busy. You're aligning your actions with your goals and values. So start your day with a moment of reflection. Take a deep breath and ask yourself, what's most important to me today? What's one thing I can accomplish that will make this day feel meaningful? When you ask these questions, you set the tone for your day. You're not drifting through it. You're steering it. Once you've got that clarity, it's time to prioritize. Not everything on your to-do list carries the same weight. Some tasks are crucial. They move the needle. They create real progress. Others are just distractions disguised as work. Learn to tell the difference. Ask yourself, if I could only accomplish one thing today, what would it be? That's your priority. Everything else comes after. Now let's talk about breaking your day into chunks. Your brain isn't designed to work nonstop. For hours on end, you'll burn out. Instead, work in focused bursts. Pick a task, set a timer, and give it your undivided attention. Then take a break, walk around, stretch, drink some water. These breaks aren't wasted time. They're a reset button for your energy and focus. When you come back to work, you'll be sharper and more effective. A key part of any daily plan is flexibility. Life doesn't always go according to plan, and that's okay. A great plan isn't rigid. It's adaptable. If something unexpected comes up, don't throw your whole day away. Adjust, shift your priorities if you need to, but don't lose sight of what matters most. Remember, a plan is a tool to help you, not a set of rules to confine you. Now let's dig into the importance of reviewing your day. At the end of the day, take 5 minutes to look back. Ask yourself what went well, what didn't. Did I stick to my plan? If not, why? This isn't about beating yourself up for what you didn't do. It is about learning and improving. Celebrate your wins, no matter how small. Maybe you finished a big project, or maybe you just managed to get out of bed and show up. Every victory counts. And for the things that didn't go as planned, look at them as lessons. What can you do differently tomorrow? Here's something else to consider. Include time for yourself and your plan. Your well-being matters. You can't pour from an empty cup, so make self-care a priority. Whether it's a workout, a hobby, or just 10 minutes of quiet time. Carve out space for the things that recharge you. This isn't selfish, it's essential. When you're at your best, you can give your best to everything else. Creating a daily plan is a skill, and like any skill that gets better with practice, your first few plans might feel awkward or incomplete, and that's fine. Keep at it. Over time, you'll find a rhythm that works for you. The key is consistency. Make planning your day a habit, something you do automatically, because when you plan your days, you're not just organizing your time, you're taking control of your life. You're saying, this is what matters to me, and I'm going to make it happen. Think about how empowering that is instead of reacting to whatever life throws at you. You're proactive, you're intentional, you're designing your life instead of letting it design you. And when you do this day after day, the results compound. Small, consistent actions add up to big changes. That's the power of a daily plan. It's not just about today. It's about building momentum for tomorrow, next week, next month, and beyond. So here's my challenge to you tomorrow morning. Before you check your phone, before you get swept up in the chaos of the day, sit down and create a plan. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just write down what matters most to you and how you're going to spend your time. Then follow through. At the end of the day, review how it went. Repeat this process every day, and I promise you'll see a difference. You'll feel more focused, more in control, and more aligned with the life you want to live. Remember, the life you want isn't built in a day. It's built one day at a time, and it starts with a plan. So don't wait. Start designing your days and watch how they transform your life. Number 5, learn relentlessly. Learning is the foundation of growth. It's the catalyst that transforms your life from where you are now to where you want to be. And yet so many people take it for granted. They think learning stops when they leave school or when they've mastered a skill they need for their job. But real growth happens when you embrace learning as a lifelong journey. It is not just about knowing more, it's about becoming more. And if you want 2025 to be your best year yet, learning relentlessly is a principle you must embrace with open arms. Let me tell you a little secret about success. The most successful people I know aren't the ones who know it all. They're the ones who are constantly curious, who are willing to admit they don't have all the answers, and then go out and find them. They read books, listen to podcasts, take courses, and surround themselves with people who challenge their thinking. They know that everyday presence, an opportunity to learn something new, and they're determined to seize it. You see, when you approach life with a learner's mindset, the possibilities are endless, Every mistake becomes a lesson. Every challenge becomes a chance to grow. And every conversation becomes an opportunity to gain new perspectives. Learning doesn't have to be formal or complicated. You don't need to enroll in a university or spend thousands of dollars on seminars. Learning can be as simple as picking up a book on a topic that interests you or watching a documentary that broadens your understanding of the world. It can be having a meaningful conversation with someone who has experienced as different from your own. The key is to be intentional about it. Don't let days go by without feeding your mind. Just as your body needs nourishment to function, your mind needs knowledge to thrive. But here's the thing. Learning is not just about consumption. It's also about application. It's not enough to read a book or listen to a lecture if you're not going to do something with that information. Knowledge without action is like having a map and never taking the journey. If you're serious about making 2025 your best year, you need to put what you learn into practice. Take the insights you gain and use them to improve your habits, your relationships, your career, and your overall quality of life. Test new ideas, experiment with different approaches, and don't be afraid to fail. Remember, failure is just another form of learning if you're willing to see it that way. Now, I want you to think about an area of your life where you'd like to grow. Maybe it's your career, your health, your relationships, or your personal development, whatever it is. Ask yourself, what do I need to learn to get better in this area? Maybe you need to develop a new skill, gain a deeper understanding of a subject, or adopt a different mindset. Once you've identified what you need to learn, make a plan to acquire that knowledge. Set aside time each day or week to focus on learning and make it a priority. Treat it as an investment in yourself because that's exactly what it is. I also want to talk about the importance of unlearning. Sometimes the biggest breakthroughs come not from learning something new, but for letting go of old beliefs and habits that no longer serve you. Maybe you've been holding on to a mindset that's keeping you stuck. Or maybe you've been following advice that's outdated or relevant to your current situation. Be willing to question your assumptions and challenge the status quo. Stay open to new ideas, even if they make you uncomfortable at first. Growth often happens outside your comfort zone, and unlearning is a crucial part of that process. Another important aspect of relentless learning is staying humble. No matter how much you achieve or how much you know, there's always more to learn. The moment you think you've arrived is the moment you stop growing. Stay curious, stay hungry, and never lose that desire to improve. Surround yourself with people who inspire you to keep learning, whether they're mentors, peers, or even younger individuals who bring fresh perspectives. Remember, everyone you meet knows something you don't, and every experience has something to teach you if you're willing to listen. Let's talk about the role of curiosity and learning. Curiosity is what drives you to ask questions, to dig deeper, and to explore new possibilities. It is what keeps life interesting and keeps you engaged in the process of growth. When you're curious, you're not afraid to admit what you don't know, and you're eager to find the answers. So nurture your curiosity, ask questions, follow your interests, and don't be afraid to venture into unfamiliar territory. That's where some of the most valuable lessons are found. Let me leave you with this thought. Learning is not a destination. It's a journey. It's not something you do for a season and then stop. It's a lifelong commitment. And the beauty of it is that the more you learn, the more you realize how much there is still to learn. It's a journey that keeps you humble, keeps you growing, and keeps you moving forward. So as you look ahead to 2025, make a decision to embrace relentless learning. Commit to feeding your mind every day, to applying what you learn and to staying curious about the world around you. Do this, and you'll not only make 2025 your best year yet, but you'll set yourself on a path of continuous growth and success for years to come. Number 6, build discipline like a muscle. When you hear the word, what comes to mind? Maybe it's waking up early, sticking to a strict diet, or grinding away at work. And sure, those things might be part of it. But discipline is so much more than that. It's a tool, a skill, and a muscle, all wrapped into one. And like any muscle, the more you work it, the stronger it becomes. But let me tell you, discipline isn't something you're born with. No one wakes up one day and magically has the ability to stay consistent and committed to their goals. It's built step by step, choice by choice. Day by day, discipline begins with a decision. It starts when you say, I'm going to be in charge of my life. Not your excuses, not your circumstances, not the distractions that pull you in every direction. You have to decide that you're going to take control, and that's where it gets tough. Because deciding means you're stepping out of your comfort zone. It means you're choosing to do the hard thing, even when no one is watching, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it feels easier to quit. Think about this. Every time you choose discipline over comfort, you're casting a vote for the person you want to become. Let's say you've decided you're going to get in shape that first morning. You drag yourself out of bed at 5 a.m. to hit the gym. You're casting a vote. The next morning when you'd rather sleep in, but you go anyway. Another vote. Over time, those votes add up, and before you know it, you've built not just a habit, but an identity. You start to see yourself as someone who's disciplined, as someone who follows through. That's powerful. It's not just about the actions, it's about what those actions say about who you are. Now, let's be real. Discipline isn't glamorous. It's not always fun. It is not the highlight reel you see on social media. Most of the time, it's about doing the boring, unexciting work that doesn't get applause. It's showing up day after day, even when you don't feel like it. And that's the secret. You don't have to feel like it to do it. Too many people wait for motivation to strike. They think when I feel inspired, then I'll take action. But inspiration is fleeting. It comes and goes. Discipline, though. Discipline stays. Discipline gets you out of bed when motivation is nowhere to be found. Discipline gets you to show up when the excitement has worn off. And all that's left is the grind. Let's talk about how you build it. Start small. You don't build a muscle by trying to lift 300 pounds on your first day at the gym. You start with what you can handle, and you build from there. The same goes for discipline. Pick one thing. Maybe it's drinking more water, reading for 10 minutes a day, or taking a short walk after dinner. Whatever it is, make it something you can commit to 100%. The key is consistency. It's better to do a small thing every day than to try something big and burn out after a week. Once you've mastered that first habit, add another, then another. Over time, you'll find that discipline spills over into other areas of your life. Here's another thing to keep in mind. Discipline isn't about being perfect. It's about being persistent. You're going to slip up. You're going to have days where you miss the mark. That's okay. What matters is how you respond. Do you let one missed workout turn into a week of skipping the gym? Or do you get back on track the next day? Discipline isn't about never failing. It's about never giving up. It's about showing up again and again, no matter how many times you stumble it. Accountability can also help. Tell someone about your goals. Share what you're working on and ask them to check in with you. Knowing someone else is paying attention can be a powerful motivator. Better yet, find a community of like-minded people who are on the same journey. When you surround yourself with others who value discipline, it becomes easier to stay on track. Their energy, their commitment, their example, it all rubs off on you. Now, let's talk about rewards. Discipline doesn't mean you can't celebrate your progress. In fact, recognizing your wins is an important part of the process. When you hit a milestone, take a moment to acknowledge it. Treat yourself to something you enjoy. Give yourself credit for the work you've put in those small celebrations. Reinforce your effort and keep you motivated to keep going. Finally, remember this discipline is freedom. At first, it might feel like a restriction, like you're forcing yourself to do things you don't want to do. But over time, you'll see it differently. You'll realize that discipline gives you control over your life. It allows you to create the future you want. It's the foundation for achieving your goals, building your confidence, and becoming the best version of yourself. So start today. Make the decision. Pick one small thing you can do and commit to it. Show up even when it's hard. Cast those votes for the person you want to become. And remember, every step you take, no matter how small, is a step toward the life you're building. You have the power to shape your future. Discipline is the tool. Use it, build it, and watch what happens when you do. Number 7, financial independence. Financial independence isn't about being wealthy for the sake of showing off. It's about having the freedom to live life on your terms. It's about waking up in the morning and knowing that you have choices. Well, not tied down by debt. You're not living paycheck to paycheck, and you're not constantly worrying about how you'll cover your next bill. Imagine that freedom for a moment. That's the kind of life we're aiming for here. And I'm here to tell you that it's possible. It's not going to happen overnight, but with steady effort and the right approach, you can get there. To start, we've got to understand the current state of our finances. For many people, this part is uncomfortable. You might not like what you see when you add up your debts or track your spending. But let me tell you, this is a critical step. You can't fix what you're not willing to face. Sit down and look at where your money is going. Be honest with yourself about your habits. Are you spending more than you earn? Are you buying things you don't need? Are you avoiding saving because it feels like there's nothing left at the end of the month? These questions can be tough, but they're necessary. Once you've got a clear picture, the next step is to make a plan. A plan is your roadmap to financial freedom. It doesn't have to be perfect, and it doesn't have to be complicated. It just has to work for you. Start with your income and your expenses. Are there places where you can cut back? Maybe it's those daily coffee runs or eating out multiple times a week. Maybe it's subscriptions you've forgotten about or impulse purchases you don't really need. Whatever it is, identify the areas where you can save, even if it's just a little at a time. Small changes add up. And while you're at it, set aside something for saving. Even if it's just $10 a week, get into the habit of putting money away. Over time, those small amounts grow into something significant. Now let's talk about debt. Debt can be one of the biggest obstacles to financial independence. If you're carrying debt, it's time to make a plan to pay it off. Start with the smallest debt or the one with the highest interest rate. Whichever method motivates you the most, make more than the minimum payment whenever you can. The quicker you pay it off, the less you'll pay in interest, and the faster you'll free up money for other things. But while you're working on paying off debt, don't forget to live. Don't forget to enjoy the process. Financial independence doesn't mean you deprive yourself of all joy in the present. It means finding a balance where you're taking care of your future while still living a meaningful life. Today, income is another piece of the puzzle. If your current income isn't enough to cover your expenses, pay off debt and save, then it's time to look for ways to increase it. This doesn't mean working yourself to exhaustion. It means finding smart ways to earn more. Maybe it's a side hustle. Maybe it's learning a new skill that can help you get a raise or a better job. Maybe it's selling things you no longer need. The opportunities are out there, but you've got to be willing to look for them. Remember, every extra dollar you earn is a dollar you can use to move closer to financial independence. One of the most important habits you can develop is investing. Saving money is good, but investing is how you grow it. It's how you make your money work for you, instead of the other way around. If you're new to investing, start small. Learn the basics. Maybe it's a retirement account, like a 401k or an IRA. Maybe it's putting money into index funds or real estate. The key is to start and to keep learning. Over time, your investments can grow significantly, giving you even more freedom and flexibility. Now, while all of this is important, let's not forget the mindset part of the equation. Financial independence isn't just about the numbers. It's about how you think and feel about money. It's about shifting your perspective from scarcity to abundance. It's about believing that you have the ability to create the life you want. And it's about staying disciplined and focused, even when it's hard. There will be times when you're tempted to give up or fall back into old habits. There will be times when progress feels slow, but remember why you're doing this. Remember the freedom you're working toward. Keep that vision in mind and let it drive you. And don't forget the importance of giving. Even as you work toward financial independence, find ways to give back. Maybe it's donating to a cause you care about. Maybe it's helping a friend or family member in need. Maybe it's volunteering your time. Giving reminds us that money is a tool, not the goal. It reminds us of what really matters, and it has a way of coming back to us in unexpected ways. So here's the bottom line. Financial independence is within your reach. It's not about being perfect. It's not about doing everything all at once. It is about taking small, consistent steps in the right direction. It's about making the most of what you have and staying committed to your goals. It's about believing in yourself and your ability to create a better future. Start where you are, use what you have, and do what you can. With time, effort, and perseverance, you can achieve the freedom and independence you deserve. Number 8, believe in your ability to change. One of the most powerful things you can ever do in your life is believe in your ability to change. I mean, really believe it. Because let me tell you, nothing will happen until you believe it's possible. If you're sitting there thinking, this is just who I am, I can't change, this is how life has always been for me, then guess what? You're already setting yourself up for failure. That mindset is like a giant wall you've built between yourself and the future you deserve. But here's the truth. Change is not only possible, it's inevitable if you decide to make it happen. Think about it for a moment. Every single person you admire, every success story you've ever heard, every breakthrough you've ever seen, those people didn't start out where they ended up. They all began somewhere. Some of them started in worse places than you can even imagine. They didn't have more time, more resources, or more talent than you. What they had was the belief that they could become more than they were. They understood that their current circumstances didn't define them, but their choices did. And that's the beauty of being human. You can choose to grow, to adapt, to evolve. But let me tell you, believing in your ability to change isn't just about feeling inspired for a moment. It's about understanding what belief actually means. It's not just wishful thinking. Belief is active. It's backed by action. When you truly believe you can change, you start doing things differently. You make decisions that align with the person you want to become. You stop making excuses and you start finding solutions. You don't wait for the right time or the perfect opportunity. You create those moments because you're driven by that belief. Let's talk about what it actually takes to believe in your ability to change. First, you've got to see it. I'm not talking about some vague idea of what your life could look like. I'm talking about a crystal clear vision of who you want to become. Close your eyes and picture it. What does your ideal life look like? What does it feel like? What kind of person are you in that life? Are you confident, disciplined, and fulfilled? Are you healthy, financially secure, and surrounded by positive relationships? It's specific because the clearer your vision, the stronger your belief will be. Now, once you've got that vision, you've got to remind yourself of it every single day. This isn't something you think about once and forget. This is something you live with, breathe with, and work toward every day. Write it down, put it somewhere you can see it. Create a reminder on your phone if you need to do whatever it takes to keep that vision at the forefront of your mind. Because life will throw distractions at you. Doubts will creep in. You'll have days when you question whether change is even possible. And in those moments, that vision will be your anchor. But belief isn't just about having a vision. It's about taking action even when it's uncomfortable. Especially when it's uncomfortable. Change doesn't happen in your comfort zone. It happens when you push yourself to do things you've never done before. It's scary. Sure, it's intimidating, but it's also liberating. Every time you take a step toward your goals, no matter how small, you're proving to yourself that change is possible. And with every step, your belief grows stronger. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be easy. It won't be. There will be setbacks. There will be days when you feel like you're not making any progress. But let me tell you something. Those moments are not the end. They're part of the process. They're opportunities to learn, to grow, and to strengthen your belief every time you face a challenge and overcome it. Even if it's just by taking one more step forward, you're building the kind of resilience that makes lasting change possible. And let's talk about the people around you for a second. Because who you surround yourself with matters. If you're constantly around people who doubt you, who tell you that change is impossible, who bring negativity into your life, it's going to be a lot harder to believe in yourself. So take a hard look at your circle. Are these people lifting you up or holding you back? If they're not supporting your growth, it might be time to create some distance. Seek out people who inspire you, who challenge you, who believe in your potential, even when you struggle to see it yourself. Those are the people who will help you keep your belief alive. And let's not forget the power of gratitude. You might not be where you want to be yet, but you're not where you used to be either. Take a moment to acknowledge how far you've come. Celebrate the small wins. Every time you recognize your progress, no matter how small, you're reinforcing your belief that change is possible. Gratitude keeps you grounded. It reminds you that every step forward is worth it, and it fuels your motivation to keep going. Finally, remember this. You don't have to do it all at once. Change doesn't happen overnight. It's a process, and it's okay to take it one step at a time. Don't get overwhelmed by the big picture. Focus on what you can do today, right now, to move closer to your goals. Maybe it's a simple habit. Maybe it's a small decision. Whatever it is, do it with the belief that it's bringing you closer to the person you want to become. And then do it again tomorrow and the next day. Because every small action adds up to big change. So here's my challenge to you. Decide today that you're going to believe in your ability to change. Not just in theory, but in practice. Commit to it, live it, and when doubt creeps in, when challenges arise, when you feel like giving up, remind yourself of that vision you created. Remind yourself that change is possible, that you are capable, that you are worthy, because you are. And the only thing standing between you and the life you want is the belief that you can make it happen. So what are you waiting for? Start now. Start today. And never stop believing in your ability to change.